Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Wednesday, January the 19th. Now, we do have a huge slate today. We got a 13-game slate, one of the bigger slates that we've had in a long time. I'm going to try and do my best to go through the slate, somewhat quickly. Try and go as brief as possible. Just kind of skim through these games, talk through each game still, give my quick thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on Tuesday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will bid out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players that specifically stand out to me at first look for both DraftKings and for Yahoo. Now, as always, you got to pay attention to injury news. You got to pay attention to updates, to starting lineups, especially on big slates like this. I'm sure there's going to be some news, some unexpected news that comes out during the day. Usually every time we have, these kind of slates where there's a lot of games, there's going to be some player that gets randomly ruled out that we don't expect to be out. So make sure you're paying attention to news. And, if you really enjoy these first look videos, if they help you out a lot, you want to get more content from me, I do provide a lot more updated content over on Patreon. You can check that out. It's linked down below in the description. You can get access to all of my updated DFS content, core plays, my positional plays, my rankings, getting our Discord chat where you can ask me questions throughout the day. I'm always in Discord to answer questions for Patreon members. That's all available on Patreon. Also, you do get access to my favorite Prize Picks plays each day. For those of you that are new here, Prize Picks is the sponsor of this video. If you want to check them out, you can sign up on Prize Picks, link down below in the description, or just when you sign up, make sure to use code NOAH. They will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100, and you can take a look at what Prize Picks has to offer. It is a very simple site to use. You're just picking the over or the under on players' projections. You can see they already do have a lot of stuff posted for Wednesday. Obviously, they're going to get a ton more projections posted as we get closer to tip-off for Wednesday's games. They'll start to add fantasy point projections. They'll get basically every game posted on the board. You can take a look at all the props they have available, make some picks for yourself. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks. You can win up to 10 extra money over on Prize Picks. So go sign up over there. Use code NOAH when you do. That way you do get that deposit bonus when you do sign up. But yeah, guys, let's go through these 13 games. We're going to start off with the Brooklyn and Washington game. Again, I'm going to try and do my best to kind of go through this as quick as possible. There's going to be games that we spend more time on than others. There's going to be some games that we just fly through. But we'll go through each game individually. So first off, Brooklyn and Washington. So this is a game, especially on the Brooklyn side, that I do have some interest in. Brooklyn is still kind of shorthanded right now. No Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's going to be out for a while. Nicholas Claxton is out as well. No Kevin Durant is really the big news here. Without Kevin Durant, we're going to expect pretty heavy workloads for both James Harden and Kyrie Irving. James Harden's pretty expensive. He did get priced up to $11,600. Obviously, his floor and his ceiling without KD is pretty high. Now, with Kyrie Irving in the mix, Kyrie's going to take some usage away for sure. But Harden still has a pretty big ceiling here. We know he's going to play a ton of minutes if it's a close game. I think Harden looks like a pretty solid pay-up option at $11,600. I think Kyrie looks really good at $9,300. You're getting some big savings dropping down from Harden to Kyrie. Now, Harden is a better point-per-minute player than Kyrie, but really not by much. And Kyrie showed, last game without KD, he can still produce, at a really high rate. Had 51 DK points in 38 minutes, took 23 shots, so the usage was there. Had 27.7 rebounds, 9 assists. Again, over 50 DK points for Kyrie. I think Kyrie's going to play close to 40 minutes if this game is close. I think he has, close to the same amount of upside that Harden does. And you're getting a big discount dropping down from Harden to Kyrie. So I definitely like Kyrie at $9,300. I think he should be like 10K, if not more than 10K right now, because his role without KD is going to be massive. He's going to be probably the number 1, if not, the number 2 option on offense. They're going to stagger Harden and Kyrie so that one of those guys are on the floor at all times. Kyrie should be really productive whenever he's on the floor without Harden. So I really like Kyrie today at $9,300. I think he looks like a really strong pay-up option. If you want to play Kyrie on Yahoo, I do like him quite a bit over there as well. $35. He stands out as one of the better stud options over on Yahoo. And then other Brooklyn guys that we could target, Patty Mills. I think without KD, there's going to be more opportunity for him. Played 31 minutes last game. Now, at $4,900, I think he's kind of priced where he should be. I don't think his ceiling is massive playing alongside Harden and Kyrie, but there will definitely be more minutes available, more shot attempts. We know if Patty Mills gets hot, he can put up a big game. He's a really good shooter, so I think Patty Mills at $4,900 is a playable value option. Don't see too much else, though, I like from Brooklyn. Day'Ron Sharpe's been starting at center lately, but his minutes haven't been that great. He's $4,400, so it's not like he's that cheap either. I have a feeling we're probably going to get better value open up as the day goes on. Even if Sharpe starts again, I don't see a ton of interest in him. That's probably it from Brooklyn. I know Kessler Edwards has been starting lately. He played a ton of minutes last game. I guess, just if you just want to play him for the minutes, it's fine. It seems like they do want to play him big minutes right now. 37 minutes against the Pelicans, 38 minutes against Cleveland last game. If he starts, I'm guessing we get like low to mid 30s minutes from Kessler Edwards. At 4,300, he's a playable value, but definitely Harden and Kyrie are the two guys that really stand out from Brooklyn, with Kyrie being someone I like quite a bit today. On the Washington side, though, I really don't like much from the Wizards. The Wizards are basically back to full strength. They've got Bradley Beal back, Montrezl Harrell's back. They got Thomas Bryant back too. He's playing now, so Rui Hachimura's playing as well. Like, this is a pretty deep team. They have a lot of guys that are going to get minutes. They're going to spread out the minutes. We know Bradley Beal has big time upside, but I think he's priced where he should be. Same with Kuzma and Dinwiddie. I really don't like much from Washington today. I think my main interest in this game is coming on the Brooklyn side. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Orlando and Philly. Orlando, they're probably one of the least appealing teams on the slate. It's a tough spot on the road against Philly. It's a game that has blowout risk. On a 13-game slate, I just don't think I really want to be rostering many Magic guys, especially in a pretty bad matchup against the Sixers. The Magic are a team, they've been kind of spreading out the minutes as well. Like, some of their starters, even in close games lately, have only been playing 29, 30 minutes. So I'm just not going to play any Magic today. I really don't think this is a team we need to be that focused on. And then on the Sixers side, Joel Embiid at 11K is always a viable pay-up option. I will say that on this slate, we just have so many studs to go to. You have Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, Luka, Harden, Kyrie. There's just so many good pay-up options today. I don't think Embiid's at the top of my list, but we know Embiid has a big ceiling. If this game somehow does stay close to where Embiid does play his full minutes, he could obviously crush, because I don't think there's really anyone on Orlando that's going to stop him. But he's just more of a contrarian tournament option. He's really the only guy that I like from the Sixers today. I don't really have much interest in Tobias Harris or Tyrese Maxey. I know Tobias Harris, the price tag on him has come way down, but man, he's just been so freaking bad lately. 6,700 is really cheap for Tobias Harris, so I think he's a fine option. But even on this slate with just so many playable guys, I really don't think Tobias Harris stands out, even at 6,700. So that's probably it from the Sixers. It's just kind of Embiid here, and that's really it. So next game, Charlotte and Boston. Looking at Charlotte today, another team that I don't see too much, that really stands out. Boston, obviously not the best matchup here. Charlotte does play really fast, so there's always upside for some of these guys. LaMelo did not play last game. I think it was on Monday he did not play, but he's off the injury report, so he should be good to go for this game. I'm expecting LaMelo back. We saw Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges specifically. Miles Bridges have a massive game last game with LaMelo out. But now that LaMelo's back, I don't want to pay $8,500 for Bridges. Don't want to pay $7,700 for Rozier. Gordon Hayward, if you revenge game for what it's worth, if you want to go to Gordon Hayward in the mid-range, I think it's okay. But there's not much I like from Charlotte today. This is not a team I have too much interest in. If you want to play LaMelo in tournaments just as a low-owned dart throw, LaMelo always can go out there and put up a triple-double, can put up 50-plus any night. But even him, he doesn't really stand out to me. Definitely would rather go to a guy like Kyrie for just a little bit more salary. So that's probably it for Charlotte. Not too much here. On the Boston side, so, really good matchup here for Boston. Charlotte, one of the better matchups you can get so far this season. Charlotte's been playing super, super fast. They're a really bad defensive team, so, definitely could see Tatum or Jaylen Brown having a really good game here. At their price points, I still don't think either one stands out as, great plays today. But Tatum, if this game stays close, is going to play, high 30s minutes. He went nuts against the Hornets earlier this year for what it's worth. 65 Draftkings points in 41 minutes. I think Tatum's a fine pay-up option. I think Jaylen Brown has some upside as well. If you want to go to him, both him and Tatum crushed against Charlotte. Jaylen Brown put up 53 DK points in 37 minutes against them. Obviously, the matchup is so good that I could definitely see one of these guys doing well. I probably wouldn't play both of them in the same lineup, but definitely if you're playing multiple lineups today, getting some exposure to this Boston team, specifically Tatum and Brown, does make sense because of how good the matchup is. Dennis Schroeder's been playing better lately. He had one game where he was just really terrible. But the last few games he's looked better. He's been playing big minutes. If Marcus Smart is out again, I think Schroeder's fine. I think Smart's questionable. Yeah, Smart's questionable. So if Smart's out again, you could go to Dennis Schroeder. I think it'd be okay. Al Horford had a really good game last game, but I think that was due to Robert Williams being out. Now that Robert Williams is back, don't really like Al Horford that much. So that's probably it from Boston. I think definitely, Tatum and Brown here in tournaments make some sense just because the matchup is so good that, one of these guys could for sure pop off today. They're for sure worth, sprinkles in tournaments. But that's it for this game. We can move on to the next game, Minnesota and Atlanta. So Minnesota is on a back-to-back today. I think they're one of the like 2 or 3 teams that are on a back-to-back. I think Minnesota plays today, and then I think the Pistons play today, and that might be it. I think those are the only 2 teams that are on a back-to-back. Yeah, just the Pistons and Minnesota. So Minnesota is on a back-to-back. We'll have to pay attention to the injury report here. I'm expecting everyone to play. I don't really see anyone resting. If everyone's healthy for Minnesota, like this is not a team that I think really stands out on the slate. Obviously, we had to roster some Minnesota guys on Tuesday because it was a 2-game slate and we just didn't have that many options. With this being a 13-game slate, so many other teams, so many other teams to target. I don't see too much I like from Minnesota. Cat as a low-owned dart throw in tournaments makes some sense. No Clint Capella once again for Atlanta, so I think this is actually a pretty decent matchup for Cat. He did go nuts against Atlanta earlier this season, 65 Draftkings points in 41 minutes. I think that game might have went to overtime. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But like Cat's a fine tournament play. He should be pretty low owned. Ant and D'Angelo Russell, I mean, are okay, but I don't think they really stand out. I don't think really anyone else from this Minnesota team stands out. So not too much I like from Minnesota. And then on the Atlanta side, Trae Young at 9,800. Probably not the best spot for him against Patrick Beverley. He's going to see a lot of Patrick Beverley defense. Beverley's going to be chasing him around. We know Beverley's a really pesky defender. I mean, Trae Young's role is just so good that like I don't think it really matters. Like Trae Young's going to find a way to get shots up. He's going to find a way to score fantasy points. But I will say that having Patrick Beverley chase him around up in his face the whole game is not great for Trae Young. Could Trae still have a good game here? I mean, he absolutely could. I think at 9,800, he's just more of a contrarian option. He's not someone that I'm really going to be going out of my way to play on this slate. But obviously, if you're playing a lot of lineups, like you probably want to have a little bit of exposure to Trae Young. But in terms of the stud options on this slate, he would probably be more towards like middle of the pack, maybe even towards the bottom of my list. There's definitely some other guys I'd be playing over Trae today. Kyrie Irving for one, I would rather play over Trae. But like John Collins, I mean, without Clint Capella, John Collins definitely has a ceiling. We haven't really seen a big ceiling from John Collins lately. He did have 42 DK points last game. 7K, you're looking for 40 plus DK points from Collins, if not more than that. Like I think as a tournament dart throw, John Collins is okay. Okongwu did start last game, so they were going with Gorgie Jang in the starting lineup over Okongwu, and then last game they went back to Okongwu, and he played big minutes, 36 minutes, 32 DraftKings points. I'm guessing they start Okongwu again. I don't know if he plays 36 minutes again. It's not the best spot against Cat. Like Cat is someone that can draw a lot of fouls. Okongwu does kind of struggle with fouls. So I would definitely kind of be worried about foul trouble here. But if Okongwu can stay out of foul trouble and if he starts again, I'm guessing we get pretty big minutes from him. So like at 4,600, if you want to go there for value, I think it's okay. Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter are going to continue to play pretty big minutes while Bogdan's out. Cam Reddish no longer on the team. So like Huerter and Hunter are okay values, but on a big slate like this, I don't think they're going to be like values that we really prioritize. And there's really not much from this Atlanta team that I would be playing in like one lineup or that I would be prioritizing. So yeah, we can move on to the next game, talk about Portland and Miami. So in Portland today, still no Damian Lillard, but obviously they have CJ McCollum back now. That didn't really stop Jusuf Nurkic. Nurkic still went out there and crushed last game against Orlando. He played 36 minutes, had 62 DraftKings points. Like Nurkic has been getting big minutes lately. It seems like Nurkic is now going to be playing upper 30s minutes most nights if the game stays close and if he's not in foul trouble. I will say this matchup against Miami is not that good. Miami does have Bam Adebayo back now, and Bam's a really good defender. So scary spot for Nurkic, 8,700. It's really tough to go to Nurkic at that price point. CJ McCollum at 8K, has upside without Damian Lillard. In his first game back from injury, he played 28 minutes, only had 23 DK points. He did not look that great. He kind of looks a little rusty. I mean, at 8K, like the price tag came down. Obviously, CJ would normally be a really good play at 8K with Dame out, but just given that he's coming back from injury, he didn't look great in his first game back. Like I think CJ is a guy that I'm just going to kind of wait and see on. Just kind of wait for him to have a good game. There's probably going to be one slate where he really pops off, and I probably won't play him. But I think on a 13-gamer, like we just probably don't need to take this risk. So not that interested in CJ, even with Dame out. Simons, now that CJ's back, he took a big hit last game. Still played big minutes, but just 25 DraftKings points. His usage went way down. Only took 11 shots after he was taking 20, 25 shots in previous games. I don't think Simons is really going to be playable at this price tag with CJ back. And the rest of Portland, I'm not that excited about. Everyone I think is priced to a point where there's not much that stands out here. It's a tough match against Miami. Yeah, don't see much I like from Portland. And then on the Miami side, looking at the Heat, so Jimmy Butler, 9,100. I think kind of looks appealing here. Last game without Kyle Lowry, Jimmy did have a triple-double. They started him at point guard, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 51 DraftKings points in 36 minutes. Even with Bam returning last game, like that didn't stop Jimmy from going off. I think Jimmy's upside is definitely higher without Kyle Lowry on the floor. I think Jimmy's just going to be like the primary ball handler. Again, they started him at point guard last game. I'm guessing they're going to do that again. 9,100, like I think Jimmy's a pretty solid play on this slate. Bam is tough to go to. In his first game back, he played pretty good minutes, 32 minutes, but he really wasn't that productive, just 31 DraftKings points. 7,700's a pretty nice price on Bam, but I think he's kind of similar to CJ McCollum in the sense that I'm just going to kind of wait and see with Bam. He'll probably have a good game at some point, but until that happens, like I'm fine just not playing him, especially on a 13-game slate where, again, we just have so many options. Tyler Hero without Lowry is going to play pretty big minutes off the bench. I think he's priced where he should be, though, so I don't see a ton of interest in Tyler Hero. And the value from Miami, I'm really not that excited about. Again, big slate, probably going to get some value open up as the day goes on. I don't think I'm going to be going to guys like Gabe Vincent or Max Strus. I know Gabe Vincent started last game, but he had 27 or 23 DK points in 27 minutes. Like I just don't know how much upside he really has playing alongside Jimmy, Bam, Hero. It's hard for these cheap guys to really do well when they're playing, with those other stars, those other high usage players who are just going to soak up so much. So yeah, don't see too much else I like on Miami. We can go ahead and talk about the next game. So next game, Cleveland and Chicago. Looking at Cleveland here, another team that I don't think there's much that stands out. Darius Garland at 9K. Like Darius Garland has been great as of late. He's been balling. Over 50 DraftKings points in 4 straight games now. Matchup against the Bulls. If Lonzo plays, it's not great. Lonzo's a pretty good defender. I'm assuming Lonzo would probably be guarding Garland. I don't love Garland on this slate, but he has been playing so well that he's at least worth a sprinkle, I guess. Jared Allen, I definitely like going up against Vooch. Like Vooch has never been a good defender, never been like a guy that you really worry about on the defensive end. I think this is definitely a spot where Jared Allen could have a good game. Now, on this slate specifically, he's still like not a priority play for me. He just is someone that I'd be sprinkling in tournaments. But I definitely think Jared Allen's viable. Evan Mobley, I think, is fine too. I would probably play Allen, though, straight up. And that's probably it from Cleveland. I don't really see anything else I want to go to here. And then on the Chicago side, looking at the Bulls, so no Zach LaVine, and it looks like Lonzo is out today. So I thought Lonzo was questionable, but I guess he's out. So Lonzo is out. I mean, no LaVine, no Lonzo. We've kind of seen it just be, as of late, the DeRozan, Vooch, Kobe White, Ayo show. Those would be the guys, playing all the minutes, getting all the usage. DeRozan obviously has big-time upside. Now, last game against Memphis, he really struggled. The team as a whole just did not look great. But DeRozan's going to play like massive minutes if it's a close game. He's going to get a ton of opportunity. The matchup against Cleveland is not ideal. Cleveland has been a really good defensive team this year. They play really slow. But I think DeRozan's a fine tournament play. Same with Vooch. Kobe White is 6'5". I think he's priced where he should be, but his upside is definitely higher without Lonzo and without LaVine. He's been getting more minutes, more usage as well. I think he's playable. Ayo's been getting a ton of minutes, but his price is now up to 5,800. Back-to-back big games from Ayo, 43 DK points, 48 DK points. Been playing close to 40 minutes. I think they're going to keep playing Ayo huge minutes just because he's one of their young guys that they want to develop. They want to see what they have in him. I'm pretty sure last game he played in a blowout. It was a blowout last game, and he was still out there in the fourth quarter getting a lot of run. So I feel pretty good about Ayo's minutes, but again, the price tag, 5,800. You're not getting him at a cheap price anymore. He was 4,600 last slate. He was 3,400 the slate before that. He was really good value play. He was a really good value play on those slates. Well, today at 5,800, not so much. So, yeah, that's probably it from Chicago. I think we talked about really all the Bulls that I have interest in. So we can move on to the next game. Talk about Memphis and Milwaukee. So looking at Memphis here, this is a team that I think we are definitely going to be targeting today because they are kind of shorthanded. Obviously, Dylan Brooks is out right now for injury, and Desmond Bane and Kyle Anderson both got put in COVID protocols on Tuesday, so they're going to be out for Memphis as well. So no Desmond Bane, no Dylan Brooks, no Kyle Anderson. We're going to have to wait and see what they do with the starting lineup here. I'm guessing it'll be John Morant, Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams. We'll probably see DeAnthony Melton start in place of Desmond Bane, and then I'm pretty sure last game, I know recently they started Brandon Clark. I don't think they did last game, though. I think they've been starting Zaire Williams. Honestly, I can't remember who Memphis has been starting lately. I probably should have looked that up before I started recording. But there's definitely going to be a change in the starting lineup here because, obviously without Bane, without Anderson, Bane's a starter, and I think Anderson's been starting, but he might have went back to the bench recently. It looks like in their last game, though, so they did start Zaire Williams and Desmond Bane. So I'm guessing we'll see DeAnthony Melton start in place of Desmond Bane, and then we'll probably see, I guess, yeah, Zaire Williams will keep starting. So my best guess is that DeAnthony Melton starts in place of Desmond Bane. And to sum it up quickly, I think DeAnthony Melton's going to be one of the better value plays on the slate if he does wind up starting. He's been a really good point per minute player just throughout his career. Whenever he's been with Memphis, he's been a pretty productive player when he's gotten an opportunity. I'm guessing no Bane is going to open up a lot of minutes for Melton. He's only 3,700. He looks like one of the better value plays on the slate. So really, really like DeAnthony Melton on both sides. He's pretty cheap on Draftkings, and he's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well, $13. Assuming he's starting, he's one of my favorite values right now, kind of at first look. So I wanted to hit on him real quickly. I think John Morant offers a lot of upside here. No Desmond Bane, no Dylan Brooks. Like, those are two high usage players, two guys that will take shots when they're on the court. I think we're going to see a lot of John Morant, shot attempts. I think he's going to be the guy doing all the heavy lifting on offense. We know Ja has massive upside. His floor is still somewhat low. He's had plenty of 30, 35-point games this year, but 50 plus, 60 plus, like, that's always on the table for Ja Morant. Milwaukee this year, obviously a good defensive team, but they're still could be without Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is questionable. I think if Drew winds up sitting, it definitely becomes a better matchup for Ja Morant. So at 8,900, I do like Ja Morant quite a bit today. I think with Steven Adams back, that probably takes me off of Triple J. Steven Adams himself, I'm not that big of a fan of. Zaire Williams, even if he starts, I don't really like that much. But like maybe more minutes will be available for like John Conchar. We've seen John Conchar show some upside when he's gotten minutes without Kyle Anderson now. Maybe Conchar can get like 25, 26 minutes. So I think 3,600, he's worth a sprinkle if you're looking for a value in GPPs. But definitely like DeAnthony Melton, if he's starting, he's going to be probably one of the better value plays today for sure. But yeah, that's it for Memphis. Now looking at the Milwaukee side. So Milwaukee, Drew Holiday still questionable. Again, this is a injury we'll have to monitor. Without Drew, we've kind of seen just it'd be the Giannis and Middleton show as of late. Both these guys have been playing huge minutes. Both these guys have been producing at a pretty high rate. Giannis last game and the last two games for that matter has really not been that great, but we know Giannis has massive upside against Memphis. Like, I think Giannis could go out here and put up a 70 burger and nobody would be surprised. I definitely think Giannis is a strong pay-up option. Normally, he always is going to be one. Middleton, on the other hand, at almost 9K. I mean, he's been great without Drew as of late, but man, like almost 9K now. Like, I don't think Middleton really stands out anymore at this price tag. Could he still go out there and put up 50-plus fantasy points? He definitely could. But I think he's just more of like a contrarian option. I would definitely only be playing Middleton at that price point if Drew is out. If Drew plays, I have no interest in Middleton. I think Giannis would definitely take a slight bump down, but Giannis would still be a playable option. And the rest of Milwaukee, I don't see too much else I like here. The secondary guys like Bobby Portis and Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton, like, these guys don't really stand out to me. So we can move on to the next game, Toronto and Dallas. So Toronto today, I mean, it's just kind of the same story with this team. You kind of know who's going to get the minutes on Toronto. Last game, they literally ran a 6-man rotation last game. Van Vliet, Siakam, OG, Scotty Barnes, Boucher, and Precious Achiuwa were like the 6 guys that played all the minutes. And I think they did play Champagne a little bit off the bench. He played 9 minutes. But, dude, if you just look at the minutes last game for these Toronto guys, like Siakam played 42, Van Vliet played 40, OG played 34, Scotty Barnes played 39, Chris Boucher played 38, and Precious Achiuwa played 36 or 37. So, like, basically all those 6 guys played over 33 minutes, and then Champagne played 9 minutes. I mean, Nick Nurse, he's just like giving all his guys a ton of minutes right now. So if this game is close, I mean, we can expect 40 minutes for Siakam, 40 minutes for Van Vliet, high 30s for OG, high 30s for Scotty Barnes, low 30s for Chris Boucher, mid 30s for Precious Achiuwa. Gary Trent is questionable. I think if Gary Trent does play, he'll definitely come back in and soak up a lot of minutes, but it's just going to be a super tight rotation for Toronto. So, if you want to get some exposure here, I think it does make sense now. At their price tags, like, I don't think any of these guys stand out head and shoulders above the rest. I think, Siakam, Van Vliet, where they're priced at, like, they're obviously playable. All these guys are in play just because they're going to play so much. I think Scotty Barnes at 6'4" might be my favorite. Like, Scotty Barnes is a guy that I did have a lot of interest in last slate. Again, he's going to play a ton of minutes. He can contribute in all categories. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists last game. He's a guy that can get defensive stats as well. He's kind of like a mini Draymond with more scoring upside. So I definitely like Scotty Barnes at 6'4". He might be my favorite Raptor today. But like, Boucher's been crushing lately. 41 DK points from him. He's been playing a ton of minutes as well. They've been playing just all kind of different lineups. They've been playing like super big lineups with Boucher, Siakam, Achiuwa all on the floor. Yeah, I mean this is a team you can just definitely you can get some exposure here. Now, would I be loading up on Toronto? Probably not, but there's going to be some guys to target just because they're running such a freaking tight rotation right now. The starters are playing so much that they're all in play. If you want to limit maybe how many you play per lineup, I think that's fine. But definitely, if you're playing multiple lineups, get some exposure to Toronto because it wouldn't be surprising to see one or two of these guys do well with how much they're going to be on the court. I will say though, Precious Achiuwa, so he did start last game, played a ton of minutes. I'm guessing if Gary Trent plays today, Gary Trent will be back in the starting lineup, which would move Achiuwa to the bench. So if Achiuwa does not start, I probably would not be going to him. But again, if he starts 4,400, like the last two games he started, 39 and 37 minutes, I mean, he would definitely be a solid value for sure if he is in the starting lineup. But that's it for Toronto. We can talk about Dallas now. So Dallas, a team I really don't have much interest in. I think Luka in tournaments at 10,800 is fine. Luka's not a guy that I'd be prioritizing today. I would rather play like Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, Sabonis I like a lot. We're going to talk about later. There's plenty of other studs I'd rather go to today, but obviously Luka has triple-double upside and can put up a big game any night. But he's just more of a contrarian option, and I think the rest of these Dallas guys are, for the most part, just not that appealing. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next game, OKC and San Antonio. OKC, probably another team kind of similar to Orlando, like one of the least appealing teams on the slate. I try to not roster OKC guys when I can. This is definitely on a 13-game slate. Like, I'm just not going to be loading up on Thunder guys. The Thunder are just a team, they run a deep rotation. They spread out the minutes. The main guys are always in play, SGA, Giddey, Dort, but none of them stand out to me on this slate specifically. So we can talk about San Antonio, and looking at San Antonio, I mean, they're kind of another team I don't see a ton that I love. They're basically back to full strength. All the guys that were out for protocols recently are now all back and playing their normal minutes. Dejounte Murray can obviously go out there and put up a big game any night against this OKC team. I'd assume Dejounte Murray could definitely go out there and crush. But does he stand out to me on this slate? I don't think so. I think his upside is definitely limited. It's not as high now that Derek White's back, now that Keldon Johnson's back, Dylan Vassell back. But Murray's always in play. Pirtle, Derek White, like they're fine options as well. Derek White did move back in the starting lineup last game, played 30 minutes. I think that game did blow out. I think some of the starters did not play much in the fourth. But like if this game stays close, which is obviously a big if against OKC, you probably do get like mid-30s minutes from Derek White. So like at 6,200, he's an okay option. But yeah, I really don't like much from this game. I think we can go ahead, move on to the next game, talk about Houston and Utah. So this is one that I do like quite a bit, specifically on the Utah side. On Houston, there really isn't much I like from Houston. Tough spot here against Utah. Obviously, this is a game that does have some blowout risk, but Will mentioned that Utah will be without Donovan Mitchell. So I think this game I think it can stay close without Mitchell. I just think Utah not as likely to blow them out without one of their best players. In tournaments, if you want to go to Christian Wood or KPJ, if this game does stay close, both those guys have upside. We have seen Houston play Wood and KPJ big minutes lately in close games. Wood got 33 minutes last game, 26 minutes in a game where he was in massive foul trouble. I think KPJ got high 30s. Yeah, 36 minutes from KPJ last game. So, like, if KPJ plays 36 minutes, he can obviously crush. But they're just more like contrarian tournament options. The rest of Houston, I'm not that interested in. On the Utah side, though, Utah's a team I do like quite a bit. So, no Donovan Mitchell today for the Jazz. Rudy Gobert, like, I don't know if his role really changes, but in this matchup against the Rockets without Christian Wood, or going up against Christian Wood, I should say, this is a pretty good spot because Christian Wood never really been that great of a defender. We know Gobert has a big time floor, I guess. His ceiling is a little bit in question. Gobert is one of those guys that is very unlikely to win you a slate. I say this all the time. Gobert is one of those guys that's really unlikely to go out there and put up 60, but he feels like a really good bet to get you 40, 45. He's a very safe play. Rarely does Gobert go out there and just completely bust. I mean, even on his bad games, he's still getting you like 40 fantasy points. Will you get 55, 60 from Gobert? It doesn't happen too often. But I think the matchup's really good. That this could definitely be one of those games Gobert does go for a big ceiling game. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles, though, these are the guys we definitely want to talk about from Utah because without Donovan Mitchell, we've kind of seen it before. Conley, Clarkson, Joe Ingles, these are the biggest beneficiaries. Conley, without Mitchell, should see more usage, should have the ball in his hands more. His minutes are still not great. I say this all the time. Like Mike Conley, it's so hard for him to put up a big ceiling game because he only plays like 28, 30 minutes, even in close games. Conley's not going to play a ton, but his upside is definitely high without Mitchell. We've seen him have really good games in the past whenever Mitchell's been out. So I think 6K for Mike Conley in a great matchup against Houston. He is definitely in play. I think Jordan Clarkson looks really good. 5,500 on DraftKings. I like him a lot. I like him quite a bit on Yahoo too. He is very affordable. Over on Yahoo, he's $18 or $17, excuse me, at the point guard position. I mean, without Mitchell, we're going to see Clarkson probably still come off the bench, but play big minutes, probably get low 30s minutes. And we know Jordan Clarkson, when he's on the court, he's going to shoot the ball a ton. Obviously, the matchup's really good against Houston. Houston's been playing super fast this year. Great spot for Jordan Clarkson. No Mitchell as well. I mean, this could definitely be one of those games that Jordan Clarkson goes off and puts up 35, 40 DK points. I think the price tag 5,500 is definitely too low for him. Really, really like Jordan Clarkson today. And then I'm assuming Joe Ingles is going to start in place of Mitchell. We've always seen whenever Joe Ingles gets starts, he usually produces pretty well. He's going to play probably close to 30 minutes, if not more than 30 minutes. The matchup's fantastic. I mean, for 3,700, he definitely stands out as a strong value play today. So I really like Joe Ingles for value. Obviously, assuming he starts for Mitchell. And then on Yahoo, if you want to play Joe Ingles over there, he has minimum salary at the shooting guard position. I think Joe Ingles looks great on Yahoo as well. So like all those guys, Bojan, Royce O'Neal, I don't know if their roles really change too much, but they're fine plays. Definitely the three guys, though, Conley, Clarkson, Ingles, the three that really stand out. I think Gobert is a solid play, too. But that's it for this game. We'll go ahead and talk about the three late-night games. Go run through these real quickly. So Clippers and Nuggets. Looking at the Clippers side today, I don't see too much I really like here. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard is still out. So obviously Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson, even Amir Coffey, like these guys have upside. Amir Coffey's been playing a ton of minutes lately. He's coming off a big game, 35 DK points in 36 minutes. In close games lately, he's been playing upper 30s minutes. He's a fine play at 5,700, but still doesn't stand out to me. Same could be said for Reggie at 6K. Marcus Morris at 6.5. Batum had a good game last game, but 5,300. Like, I think he's priced to where he should be, if not overpriced. I don't see too much I like from the Clippers today. Maybe Zubac plays more going up against Jokic, but I think the last time these teams played, Zubac played 10 minutes, so I really have no idea. But at 4,200, if you want to go to Zubac, I think it's fine as a tournament dart throw. But that's really it for the Clippers. There really isn't much I like on this team. And then on the Nuggets, I think this is a team that's pretty easy to break down. I think it's just Jokic, and that's it. I really don't like much else from the Nuggets outside of Jokic. Jokic is always going to be one of the best pay-up options on the slate. I think, once again, Jokic does stand out today. He just has such a massive floor, such a high ceiling as well. The entire offense just runs through Jokic. He's got triple-double upside every night. Now 2 straight games with a triple-double, 57 DK points against the Lakers in a blowout, 37 minutes last game, 72 DK points in a tough spot against the Jazz. Even in a game where they lost by over 20 points, Jokic still put up 72 DraftKings points. The dude's just so good. His ceiling is so massive. I think Jokic is for sure one of the better pay-up options on this slate. But that's it for this game. We can talk about the next game, Detroit and Sacramento. So Detroit today, similar to OKC, similar to Orlando, just not a team I want to be rostering. I know it's a good matchup against Sacramento, so Cade Cunningham has upside here. They did play the Warriors on Tuesday night, got blown out. Cade only played 28 minutes or something. So Cade should be good to go for today. If this game against Sacramento can stay close, I think Cade does have a lot of upside because Sacramento is a really bad defensive team. They play fast. Cade went for 51 DK points in 35 minutes against them earlier this year. So Cade Cunningham, I kind of like in tournaments. He would be the one guy I'd be going to on Detroit. But Sadiq Bey, Hamidou Diallo, the rest of these guys, I don't have too much interest in. I think it's just Sadiq Bey for me, and that's probably it. Not Sadiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, and that's probably it from Detroit. It's probably just Cade, and that's it. And then on the Sacramento side, I don't see much I like from the Kings. I will say De'Aaron Fox, the one guy I do have interest in. With Tyrese Halliburton, out for COVID protocols right now, that definitely boosts the floor and ceiling on De'Aaron Fox. Now, the price tag has come up a little bit to 8,400. But I definitely think this could be one of those games where De'Aaron Fox goes for 45, 50 DK points. He really struggled last game against Houston, even in a really good matchup. No Halliburton. It was surprising to see him do as bad as he did. But I think it's definitely a bounce-back spot for Fox. Nobody on Detroit's going to stop him. He went for 46 DK points against them earlier this season. I could definitely see a similar performance from Fox tonight, if not better. So De'Aaron Fox I do like from the Sacramento team. The rest of Sacramento, though, I'm not too excited about. Marvin Bagley, we'll mention, just because he's been playing really well lately. He was injured in their last game, did not play, but he's off the injury report, so he should be playing today. If they're going to keep starting Marvin Bagley and playing him upper 30s minutes, he has a lot of upside. He's a really good point per minute player. It's always risky with the Kings just because, some games you think a guy will play big minutes and then he randomly won't. Like Bagley's been playing really well lately. Is he a guarantee to play 30 minutes? Probably not. Like it's not a guarantee. So a riskier option, but I think the upside is there if they do give him the minutes. I will mention that. And then like Terrence Davis started last game in place of Halliburton, played really well, played big minutes. I think Terrence Davis, if he starts again, is in play. But worth noting, his price tag is now up to 5,300, so it's not like he's a glaring value at 5,300, but would still be viable. I think the upside is there for Terrence Davis if they do play him big minutes again, like they did last game. But that's probably it from Sacramento. I think we talked about everyone here. So last game of the night, the Pacers and the Lakers. So the Pacers here. A lot to like on this Pacers team. No Miles Turner. Malcolm Brogdon questionable. No Miles Turner. I think Sabonis is one of the biggest beneficiaries, if obviously the biggest beneficiary. He's going to start at center. He started at center last game against the Clippers. Surprisingly, did not even have that great of a game, but still put up 47 DK points, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 blocks for Sabonis in 34 minutes. I mean, Sabonis, like his role without Miles Turner is just so good. He's gonna dominate on the glass. He has massive rebounding upside whenever Turner's off the floor. He's got triple-double upside as well. They run so much of the offense through Sabonis to where he can get 8, 9, 10 assists. He's obviously a guy that can score around the rim. Against the Lakers, especially with this team playing small ball right now, we'll see what they do with the starting lineup. They've been starting Dwight lately. We'll see if they start Dwight again. I don't think it really matters for Sabonis. I think against the Lakers, this is definitely a spot where Sabonis can crush, especially with Miles Turner out, with Brogdon questionable. I like Sabonis quite a bit today, and I like him on Yahoo too. I think at the power forward position, he looks like one of the better power forward plays on Yahoo at $41. But then like Karis LeVert, I think without Brogdon, if Brogdon remains out, is a pretty good play. LeVert's going to start at point guard, play big minutes. It's a great matchup. It's a big-time pace-up spot against a fast-paced Lakers team. So I think Karis LeVert definitely stands out as a strong option if Brogdon is out. If Brogdon plays, then not as much interest in LeVert, but I think Sabonis would still be a pretty good play with Turner out. The rest of the Pacers, though, I'm not that interested in. I think it's just Sabonis and then LeVert if Brogdon is out. Then on the Lakers side, so you kind of know the deal with the Lakers. I mean, it's just kind of like the LeBron show right now. LeBron's the guy that's playing all the minutes, getting all the usage. We'll say these last few games, he's kind of been disappointing, but we know the upside that LeBron has. Without AD on the floor, like the offense is going to run through LeBron. He's going to take 20, 25 shots. He's got triple-double upside every night. He's always one of the better pay-up options, and I think, on this slate specifically, even though there are a lot of pay-up options today, you have Jokic, Giannis, Harden, a lot of guys to go to. I think LeBron's, right up there. He's definitely one of the better spins, in my opinion. Definitely like LeBron on this slate. I think Westbrook is playable. Westbrook's been really bad lately. He's been really disappointing. He just hasn't shown much upside. The price has still slowly starting to creep down, so I think Westbrook's okay, but probably more of like a late slate play than someone I'd be playing on the main slate. Malik Monk went to the bench last game, so don't have much interest in Malik Monk. He only played 25 minutes. With him coming off the bench now, if that's what they continue to do, it's going to really hurt his upside. Dwight Howard, though, I will mention, just because Dwight Howard did start at center last game, only played 22 minutes, but was productive, had 23 DK points. I'm guessing going up against Sabonis, they're probably going to start Dwight Howard again at center. So for 3,500, if Dwight Howard does start at center, I mean, he's definitely someone we can look to as a value option. I do question how many minutes he can play. I don't think he's going to play 30 minutes, but I think 24, 25 minutes is on the table. If we do get 25 minutes from Dwight Howard, he could definitely do well at 3,500. So I did want to mention him as a value play. But that's really it, guys. That's it for the Lakers, and that's it for this 13-game slate. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. I know it was a long one. We talked for almost 40 minutes. Sorry about that, guys, but I try to do my best to go through all these games as quick as possible. Hopefully this video helped you, though. Hopefully it was informative. If you guys did enjoy, please do hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button as well. If you have not yet, go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Go sign up for PrizePicks. Use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will match your first deposit. They will give you a free bet up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. You can take a look at what PrizePicks has to offer, make some picks for Wednesday's NBA games, make some picks for NFL this weekend. We have the playoffs this weekend, a lot of big-time playoff games. I'll definitely have some NFL entries going this weekend. I do NBA as well. If you guys want to get my PrizePicks plays every day, along with the entries I'm playing myself, that's all available on Patreon. You can check that out. It's linked down below in the description. Patreon content is always available for those of you that are interested. PrizePicks plays along with all of my updated DFS content. But that's it, guys. Best of luck on this big Wednesday slate. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. We will see you in the next one. Peace.